In this release, retainage can now be applied onto the credit memos that are paid by line. Credit memos can be created manually on invoices on memo screen or can be created automatically from the proforma invoices. On invoices and memo screen, while creating a credit memo, one can select either or both of apply retainage or pay by line checkboxes. The apply retainage and pay by line checkbox default from the customer setting onto the invoice and memo screen. Similarly, for the credit memos originating from the projects, the retainage settings default from the project settings. When the apply retainage checkbox is checked, the retainage tab appears. When only the apply retainage checkbox is checked, the release retainage command generates a credit memo for retainage. A credit memo with only pay by line checkbox selected can only be created manually, and it cannot be directly applied onto an invoice or a debit memo, and it will have to be done by using a payment application screen. Next, when both the flags apply retainage and pay by line checkbox are checked, the system will calculate the balance, tax amount, retained tax and unreleased retainage for each line of the document. All the retainages and the credit memos can be released collectively from the retainage release screen instead of them being released individually from invoices and memo screen. And finally, one can also note that we can also reverse a credit memo with retainage, and the system will generate a debit memo with requisite details. In this release, few improvements have been made to improve the end user experience of bank transaction processing. First is the change to the process bank transaction screen. Earlier, when there were unprocessed transactions in the system, it was difficult to see which cash account had imported but unprocessed transaction. The unprocessed transaction tab lists down cash accounts for which the transactions have been loaded but not yet processed. Next up is the change to import bank transaction screen. Here, the process transaction button has been added. When a user clicks on this button, process bank transaction form opens up with all the relevant details duly filled in. Next, on the process bank transaction screen, few changes have been made to the payments tab. A payment date field has been added. The default value of this field is copied from the date of the bank transaction and it can be overwritten. A financial period button has been added. The clear rule and create rule buttons have been repositioned. And finally, there are few changes to the bank transaction rules screen. Here, as you can see, the bank transaction rule ID field has been removed. The description field has been renamed as a rule description field and it has been made mandatory. There is a change to the use wildcard button. Save and apply button has been added and save and close button has been repositioned. These are the couple of changes that have been added to improve the usability of bank transaction processing. Improved AP aging report. In the earlier version, the AP aging report showed all the documents regardless of the business date or the report aging date. As we can remember, in the version 2020.3, changes were introduced to the AR aging report, and now similar changes have been introduced to the AP aging report. Now the AP aging report is modified to be date sensitive and transactions are selected based on the appropriate date of the document. The report can be run in a summary or detailed mode, and only the documents having an open status on the parameter date will appear on the aging report. Here you can see that there are two reports of the same supplier. One is aged on 15th of January and second has been aged on 30th of January. In the second report, you can see that the invoice having reference QH1234 has been included as it has been dated 22nd of January, and this invoice is not present in the report which has run on 15th of January. Similarly, if you look at the invoice having reference number CO45698, it has been excluded from the total of the aging report as it has been paid in the intervening period of these two reports. So the invoices and the payments that are dated later than the aging report are not included in the report, and this makes the AP aging report in a sense a true aging report. This improvement will certainly help business to have a better idea of their cash flows and expected payables. Next, let us see the improvement to the reconciliation statement report. On the reconciliation statement screen, a new button has been added for reconciliation statement report. When a user clicks on this button, the application submits the reconciliation statement report with the data duly filled in for cash account, statement date, etc. The new report now shows the statement beginning balance, the cash account balance as on the statement date. Earlier, this balance was as on the financial period end. The new report also shows the list of unreconciled and reconciled receipts and disbursement. These changes will certainly make the report more informative and user-friendly. Intercompany sales. This is the most interesting feature that has been added in this release, and it addresses the cross-company invoicing in a multi-company environment. In previous version, when one branch or a company sold goods or services to its sister concern, the accountant in both the entities had to process this transaction in the respective organization. This was not the most efficient way, and books of the organization and the books of the both organizations were not always balanced and error-free. With the introduction of this functionality, the application will extend the sister concern as a supplier or a customer respectively and automatically create an AP bill in the purchasing entity based on the invoice of the selling entity. There are few setups and screen changes that have been introduced as a part of this change. On the enable disable screen, one will have to enable the inter-branch transaction. Next, on the branches or the company screen, we will have to extend the particular branch as a customer. So when one clicks on extend to customer, a customer screen will open up with all the details duly filled in. One will have to give the tax zone, save it. Similarly, we will have to extend a particular branch as a supplier. Next, on the account receivable preferences, one would have to give the use intercompany sales account from. It could be based on the customer location or the inventory item, as the case may be. A similar option has also been added to the accounts payable preference screen. Now, when one creates an invoice on a sister concern, once an AR invoice has been generated on the sister concern, one can click on action and generate AP document. The system will automatically create an AP document and all the relevant details are populated on this AP bill based on the AR invoice. Please refer to the release notes which explains the mapping rules in detail. Once an AP document is generated on the financial details tab, one can see the related AR document. Similarly, on the original AR document, one can see a reference to the AP document being generated. Thus, this mechanism provides an efficient way to keep all the intercompany accounts balanced and updated at all times. Negative extended price in AR invoice with retainage and paid by line. In earlier version, invoices paid by line could not have negative extended price. It was not possible to reduce the amount due to a customer once an invoice was posted. In this version, we can have an AR invoice paid by line and have a negative extended price. For invoices with retainage, the negative extended price supports the retainage also. The application also supports the discount calculation for these lines with negative extended price. The system processes these negative lines in the same way it handles the payment of a credit memo. That is, the total payment should be equal to or greater than 0. Further, when this invoice is paid, we cannot pay this invoice in such a way that the amount outstanding is less than 0. That is, we cannot choose to pay only the positive line. Alternatively, we cannot pay it in such a way that the amount outstanding becomes greater than what it was before. So if we choose to pay only the negative line, the outstanding amount would be 1843, which would be more than what it was outstanding earlier. These are the limitations which one has to be mindful of. Next is releasing adjustment created on the reconciliation statement screen. A new feature has been introduced wherein one can not only create adjustment but also release it from the reconciliation statement screen. On a reconciliation statement screen, we can see that the few of the transactions are not yet reconciled because they do not exist in the system. This can be created by clicking on adjustment button. This opens the quick transaction window wherein we can give in the requisite details. And once the details are given, we can save and release it from the same window. Earlier, one had to save this transaction, navigate away from the form, locate the transaction, release it, and then come back to reconciliation statement to reconcile it. But with this new improvement, one is able to do all of that without navigating away from this form. And this certainly would lead to more efficiency for the end user. Restricted visibility of customer records. One of the interesting features that is now available with this version is the ability to restrict a customer to a specific company or a branch. In a multi-company environment within the same tenant, it offered us a flexibility to share various data. This way, a customer data was shared between multiple entities of the same tenant. But there might be a business case to restrict a customer data to a specific company or a branch. And this new feature allows us to do the same. Earlier, we had row-level security using which one could restrict the customer visibility, but this new feature complements it. Let's have a quick look at the setup first. On the enable disable feature, one will have to enable customer visibility restriction. Once this has been enabled, on the customer level, on the financial tab, one can restrict a customer to a specific branch or a company. The above setting also exists at the customer class level, and the customer created using this class will have the same restrictions applied to it. So for customer number 1, we have restricted the visibility to Melbourne branch. And if we log into a user which does not have access to Melbourne branch but has access to Sydney branch, and if we try to access the customer record, we would see that we are not able to access the record for customer number 001, which has been restricted only to Melbourne branch. So this feature offers us a new way to restrict the customer data, which is very easy to implement and maintain, unlike the row-level security earlier. Flexible recognition method for deferred expenses. In the earlier version, flexible recognition method was available only for accounts receivable. With this release, this method is now available for accounts payable as well. For this feature to work, one will have to enable deferred revenue management from the enable disable screen. On a deferral code setup, when the recognition method for a deferral code is flexible by period prorate by days or flexible by days in period, one can choose the code type as expense. Once the code has been set up, we can assign this code to a non-stock item in the tab of deferral settings and give the default term. On an AP bill, when you choose that inventory item, we can see that there are two columns added here, term start date and term end date. When we give in the value for the term start date, the term end date gets populated automatically based on the deferral setting. Similar changes have also been incorporated to purchase order screen. Next is support for transaction matching for invoices. Earlier, during matching the cash transactions in a bank statement to an AR invoice, weight for match relevance were calculated based on weights of payment. Now the invoices are selected for matching based either on their due date or discount date, and the match relevance is calculated based on either of these two. There are few changes introduced to the cash management preference screen. Transaction matching section has been renamed as other matching settings. An invoice matching section has been added, and an auto threshold matching section has been added to find a best match during the auto matching process. All the relevance calculation settings have been moved to a new tab called relevance calculation. This section has the payment and expense relevance and invoice relevance weights. Next, there are few changes to process bank transaction screen. Here there are two tabs. One is for relevance calculation and another one is for matching settings. On the invoice matching settings, in the invoice matching section area, filter has been added to select an invoice based on cash account or based on discount or due dates. An auto match threshold section has also been added. On the relevance calculation tab, payment and expense receipt relevance and invoice relevant weights are present. The above changes will help the process of invoice selection by cash account or match by discount or due dates. And the auto matching process will be more efficient as the documents are matched based on the match relevance and threshold criteria set up. Finally, let's look at the other improvements that have been included as a part of this release. First is changes to convert purchase to asset. As we all are aware, a purchase can be converted to a new asset or added to an existing asset. There have been few data level changes which a developer needs to be aware of, as this might impact the customization project. The default column order has been changed in the upper and lower tables. In the lower table, asset for reconciliation column has been renamed as asset ID, and a new asset column has been renamed to create asset. Next is changes to the customer classes and supplier classes. After the introduction of new functionality of restricting the visibility of a customer to avoid confusion on the customer classes screen, a new function include customer to restriction group has been added. This replaces the earlier function apply restriction settings to all customer. Similar changes have also been made at the supplier class levels. There have been few UI changes which have been made in this release to the customer, customer location, supplier and supplier location screen. First, let's look at the changes at the customer location. On the screen toolbar, a copy paste menu function has been added, action command has been added, general info tab has been renamed as general, and a shipping tab has been added. Apart from this, there are few other UI changes, and all of these changes have also been introduced at the supplier location. Next, let's look at the changes for the customer screen. On the customer screen, a general info tab has been renamed as general, billing setting tab has been renamed as billing, and delivery setting tab has been renamed as shipping. Customer name field has been renamed as account name. Customer address field has been renamed as account address. The data privacy settings has been split into two, one for the primary contact and another for the accounts privacy contact. A primary contact section has been added. These changes, along with few others, have also been extended to the supplier screen.